Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavley. Welcome back to my channel as we continue our crime fighting adventures of the colonial marshals, Rizzo and oh Shank. There we go. Rizzo and Shank. Shank and Rizzo. When we left, they had just split the party. And Shank was chasing the guy that had the chemical, biological, whatever, out. Um, and had run off with it. Rizzo was left behind to deal with everything else. Let's see. I'm going to give Rizzo a kind of a reaction roll for being left on his own. He's not stupid, and I don't think he's going to freak out necessarily, but we'll see what the dice. We'll see what the dice say. 6. I'm going to say that's enough to generate a negative reaction roll here. Six. Argument with another character. All right. So it's not going to be now. Well, he has enough adrenaline and sense about him. But when they get back together, if I remember and I don't forget, um, at an appropriate time, sometime today, maybe during debriefing or something like that after shift, he's going to go and get into an argument with Shank, a big one. It describes it as a row. But he's got his stunner out, and he's going to tell them to. He's going to try to zap one, and while he's telling the other one to get down, get down, get down. All right, so 7. That's a hit. They did not make their roll. All right, so he's out. He's out for a minute as well. And the other guy, he just let's see, is he going to try? Let's see, this guy went down, like I said. Whoops. My little window is off to the side there. All right. Is he going to try to rush forward again? I'll give him a reaction roll. It's going to be 10 or higher. He's going to clutch onto whatever weird cultish faith he has, and he's going to try to be the last man, the last man standing. Nope. All right, so he doesn't even know what the deal is, why, what he's doing there. He's questioning his life choices. He gets down and he starts securing prisoners because fortunately they have duct tape, at least because they use them on the on the girl. So he takes his cuffs and he cuffs that guy, and while they're all still asleep, or while they're all still quivering and being ill from the effects of the sonic stunner, he starts tying them up. Lots of duct tape. All right. So while these guys are doing that, these two are running. We're gonna try to do another little chase sequence here. Now our poor old Marshall, he's not really what you'd call super in shape. He's pretty quick on his feet, but he's not the greatest endurance, nor is he very strong anymore. Youth is wasted on the young. But this guy is not he's not super great either. Actually, he's got a freaking he's got like a 3 dexterity, so all right, let's give you a roll. 5. And No bueno. So neither one of them do particularly great. This guy manages to keep the distance. Um, as he's turning a corner, he's going to try to pop off a shot with his stunner because he doesn't want to lose sight of him. Unfortunately, when he pauses to try to shoot, even just for a second, of course he's going to draw back a little bit. But he's not in close range anymore. That guy, they're both running. Let's see, they're both running. It's going to be a single shot here. I'm going to still say it's within short range here. So it's within, no aiming, not beyond. Okay, the target is moving, dodging, rushing, so -1. All right, so it's -1, which is at 8, so he needs a 7. They'll take care of his 2 points that he gets. So 7 or higher to hit this guy with the stunner before he dashes around the corner. Oh, there we go. Well, that's a pretty short short chase. Not nearly as dramatic as I was thinking it would be. All right, so right when he's about to get around the corner, the Shank brings up his stunner, and the whoom. I just kind of imagine it makes this kind of weird sound effect, whoom, as it sends a shockwave. That's an 11. That's let's see, so that's 3. Yeah, so that's 3. That's 2. I think 2 effect. 11. No. Sorry, I was going the wrong way. Anyway, does this guy make his endurance roll? I don't think so. Nope. And 3. All right, so he gets the whoop, and the guy, he's still got the thing in his hand, and his knees go weak, and he just falls, and he vomits a little bit, and he's trying to get back up, and he can't. And before he can do anything, Shank has him handcuffed and is dragging him back towards the room to make sure that his buddy is, so that he can support his buddy. He looks at the little bio tube, like, I'm really about sick and tired of you. And he tucks it in his pocket because he's already been exposed to whatever there might be, and he has no better place to put it. Puts it in his pocket, hauls the guy back down there. And now they are all secured. That was an interesting little fight. Hey, you all right, kid? Yeah. Oh, maybe now he has the argument. Yeah, I think this is probably a good time. Why did you freaking leave me here all by myself? And he just starts screaming again. Shank is really not very impressed with this guy's ability to keep it together. Okay, so Shank is starting to develop a negative attitude towards Rizzo, and vice versa. Rizzo has now twice kind of been left alone by Shank to take care of stuff. If you can't mop up a couple of shot up people and that are half unconscious and vomiting, then maybe you're in the wrong line of work, Rizzo. I'm in the wrong line of work because people like you. And so now they're fighting and screaming at each other, and the Miss Duffy is, and so finally, after they get done screaming some more at each other, Shank finally says, "Kid, shut your mouth." call in. We need ambulances. This is what we should be doing instead of you going off like you're some kind of fifth grade kid. And so Shank goes over to, and he starts pulling the duct tape from the woman while he starts calling in. And then when you're done calling in, you start patting them down. So it turns out to be another big to do. But this time, since Duffy, for her own reasons, she does not want to spark another, building shutdown. And as once they realize that everybody's okay, um, they get these guys, away, treated, thrown in jail, locked up for interrogation. This guy, he's the only one that's not really that's not hurt. Everyone else gets sent to medical. And that dude and Miss Duffy get escorted down to the marshal's office. Now she is going to, and this is kind of the story I came up with. She's not going to try anything. She's just going to come clean. Um, yeah, look, I scanned it. I ran it through the normal stuff, and I know that that we have stuff that comes off world every now and then, and but the scanner, nothing triggered. So I thought, those crackpots, those crackpots in the Tanique movement, they're always on about sacred alien stuff, and that's what it looked like to me. And it was clean. It didn't set anything off. So I thought I turned it in. I signed it. I signed it in. I signed it in a safe because it was. And then I just pocketed it and called these guys because they're always about them. They're always about the lost hidden alien life and everything like that. But I've got some. She shakes her head and look. I've just got some really big debts that I need to take care of. I mean, I'm screwed now, but I was trying to keep it under wraps so that the city didn't find out, so my boss didn't find out. And so I offered to sell it to them. And once they verified I was who I said I was, they were over like right away. Now, of course, Shank and Rizzo, they kind of knowingly uh, give each other the side eye because it was actually a Tanique agent who murdered the councilman. And they come here, and I'm just expecting them to drop off some cash or a credit chip or something. But they pushed me inside and they tied me up and they put the thing on the table. Now, everything I didn't find anything with our equipment, but they brought out that thing over there. And she points to, well, no, they're not in the room anymore. He brought this equipment with them, and I recognize what it was. It is a scanning. It is an air sampling piece of equipment. Um, and the guy you chased out, he ran it over the little bobble, and he checked something. I should have checked it. There's so many of these. There's so many hoaxes and so many things that I just didn't think it was real until he scanned it with that sampler device and it pegged hot. And that's when I knew it was real. And then they set on the table and they started doing this weird chant around it. Like they were trying to get it to move or open, like they were talking to it. And I don't know how long. I don't know how long I'd been there, and I don't even know. I don't even know if it did anything. But they were there chanting for a long time, and then you guys showed up, and the bullets started flying. So is it real? It's real. Whatever it is, it's real. Whatever setting that guy had the sampler set to, it flagged hot. I couldn't see the display, but I know what those things look like. All right. Well, you of course you realize that you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I know, but I'm not really interested in that. And he pushes over a um, little fold open terminal. Says just type everything that you told me in there. But I just type it in there, and if you think of anything else, put it in there. Hit save. It'll save on its own, but when you're done, hit save and shut it. So they go out and they head over to interrogate this guy. And Shank looks at Rizzo and he says, "Well, I hope we didn't release some kind of virus all over the universe, all over the planet. That'd be my day." Now, of course, he has, he's turned that thing over to, he's putting that like a hazmat bag, whatever they have, like in their evidence locker room there in the marshal's office, which is probably pretty small, but um, it's in there. I don't really want to. I don't really want to tell Dana that we brought that thing into the building. Well, what else were we supposed to do? Rizzo shakes his head and they go in. All right. We're going to find out what this guy wants, what he was doing, how he knew about it. See if he knows that other guy that got offed in the jail cell. As soon as Shank opens the door, this guy is there with a smug look on his face. A lawyer and Chief Dana Jones is in there. Deputy Chief Shank. This is the injunction to immediately, and he goes into a bunch of legalese, jargon, and just a whole list. And finally, Dana says, "All right, just cut the shit. All right, all right. All right, Shank, this is how it is." He's lawyered up. They've got the lawyer. And this Taneet guy is footing a big bill. So our friend is going to go straight into the system before we interrogate him. You mean the system that this guy's probably bought? The lawyer gives him a shake or a shrug. It's how it goes sometimes, Deputy Chief. And this guy, let's see. He assaulted officers, you know. From what he says, he merely ran from officers. It was his fellows who actually attacked. He ran. Yes, that's true, possibly. But even still, surely that is easily taken care of through the standard means. The marshal's office certainly doesn't need to be involved. This is a local matter for the local magistrates. I'm not sure that's how that works. And Dana pops up. For now, that's how it works, Shanks. Just step back. We have a unit from the NYPD coming over to process him. I thought they didn't even want him. That's enough, Shank. Let it go. We'll talk in a minute. So Shank gets a rather sour look on his face, and he walks back out. Motions Rizzo to come along. You know, really, I really don't even care. I'll be glad to just let them take it back. Probably that freaking mayor. Oh well. Look, kid, I know you're pissed off at me. You gotta collect yourself when you're out there. You did a good job. All right. But you can't melt down every time you got to do something that you don't like to do, something that you have to do by yourself. We're not crossing guards here. Well, you shouldn't have left me. The next time, kid, that you mouth off to me like that, I'm going to punch you in the face. You can't. I can, and I did. All right. When you're in the computer lab, be polite. When you're in the computer lab, be sure that you wash your hands after you piss and all that stuff. When we're out in the field and when we're in a situation like that, you don't melt down and you don't start screaming at me like that. You got a problem with something, we'll talk about it later. You are a fucking rook and you will do what you're told. All right. All right. Look. All right. I'm sorry. I just freaked out. So they have their little conversation, not quite a coming back together, but an establishment of the pecking order. And they sit down. They start typing their reports. Shank watches and shakes his head as the officer and the two NYPD uniforms escort this guy back out. And then, of course, Dana walks by. The chief, she walks by, taps on his desk, motions to his door, or to her door. And they pop in there. All right. I know it's been a long day. It's about time for you two to head home. So let's start with the shootout. What happened there? And so they explain what happened, even though it's written down in the reports and everything. Of course, she wants to hear it from them and ask questions. And fortunately for them and for paperwork, let's see, did anyone die? Did that lady die? She was pretty close. I'm going to say on a 5 or a 6, she was not able to survive her wounds. Ooh, barely. Okay. So she's probably going to be crippled or something for life from her injuries. Everyone you two yahoos shot up today survived. Look, they were coming right at... Look, hey, I'm not judging. All right, I'm just glad that everyone survived. Because now you guys are not going to be in as much... being investigated as much, right? So where is that thing? I mean, is it safe to have? What? Why didn't they call? Why didn't they call for another scrubbing of the building? That Duffy lady, she says it doesn't. It doesn't kick off most of the stuff. It's not, as long as it's sealed, it's not a threat. But, and then he goes through what she explained. So it's these weird Tanique freaks. They're into the aliens. I don't know much about them, to be honest. I've never really had to look at them. I've heard the name, like conspiracy, alien conspiracy types or whatever. Well, uh, their leader is the industrialist. Okay. Renee Pegram. Let me note that. Pegram. Yep, that's her. Rizzo says he'd done a little bit of research on her in the interim. Uh, her businesses all seem above board, but she's got this. Uh, she invested in some kind of rare and otherwise, according to other industry analysts, worthless crystal. I don't know if it's really a mine or whatever, but a place that they go in and then pull out these crystals. They all believe they have some kind of spiritual connection to other life in the universe or something like that. Oh, great. That's all we need, Dana says as she pulls out a smoke. That's all we need is another rich, crazy person running things. What are you going to do with her? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. She didn't do it maliciously. She thought it was a prank. She thought that the piece was a prank. We're gonna have to send it down to the lab. Although I want it to go to a federal lab to see, what they can find. Um, but I figure I just file a report and I'll let the department of I'll let the DEP figure out what they want to do with her. I don't I don't care to get her, to get any more on my plate than I have to. All right, that's fine. All right, what did you find out about the tattoo? Anything on that? The guy who walked in? He looks over at Rizzo, and Rizzo says yeah, it was a tattoo that a unit they got, and he pulls up a little picture on the nearby terminal. It's kind of a modified version of the platoon logo. There was a battle, and something weird happened in the battle. I my research so far has turned up a lot of conflicting stories, but something happened, and the outside kooky conspiracy types, they talk about some kind of alien life form that was trying to defend the planet against the marine invasion or whatever. Um, but a good portion of that unit got wiped out somehow. It was a very high casualty mission. Official records just say that it was an ambush of overwhelming firepower from the uh, enemies there on Tau Ceti. There are witnesses, accounts of the survivors disappearing later on, and really a whole lot of weird things. I think probably to get anything more about that might be helpful to get someone from the Marines, maybe. All right, I've got some contacts. I'll make sure your file has all the questions you need answered in it. Well, I could just. All right. What about the? Did we find anything about the murder victim? Well, I was digging up, and I thought the big lead was going to be that he was part of this Tanique thing because he had one of those crystals on him. That was about the only thing that gave any clues. Um, but his he's buried. Whoever it is, he's buried his background. I mean, like professional level, maybe even black ops level. The only thing that we have from him is that he's connected to Tanique, and even that, maybe he just likes their crystals. Uh, but I think it would be worth talking to Tanique, see if he recognizes that guy. But otherwise, no. I mean, it's the only thing I found out about him was that there's nothing to find out about him. And in my experience, we're talking high level government ops or high level cartel contacts. I have some other notes there. All right. All right, it's been a long, shitty day. Don't talk to the press. Don't talk to anybody. Of course, you were both involved in a shooting today, so you're gonna have to be on administrative leave for the investigation. You'll have to check in with one of the shrinks, okay? Like don't start with me, Shank. All right, it's procedure. You know it's procedure, and there's nothing we can do about it. And it'll get you underfoot, out from underfoot for a couple of days, both of you. All right. Enjoy the time off. Don't do anything stupid. Don't talk to anybody. Rizzo, probably shouldn't have to tell you this, but no sharing stories with your internet friends, with your crime lab friends. All right. Yes, ma'am. I understand. And she goes like this. Someone comes in and says, "This is the investigator from the Internal Martial Affairs Service. He's just gonna go over. He's gonna take over the investigation. He's gonna ask you questions. All right. Yes, he's gonna be an asshole. That's what he's supposed to do. Just answer the questions as best you can so you can get out of here. Keep all your extra commentary to yourself, Rizzo. Don't say anything that you don't have to say. Are we clear? Uh, yes, ma'am. Thank you." And so they go out and spend the rest of their day being interviewed by this Marshall's investigator who's investigating the shooting and the incident and everything else. And then they're going to go home for 3 days, and that's fine with Shank, um, because at this point he wants to rub his hands completely of the whole case. He doesn't care about the alien cult. He's hoping right now, actually, as he's drinking his his Red Dragon beer, that someone else is running all that stuff down, and when he comes back, he's not going to have to. All right. And I think at this point it is a little short, but I think it's a good break in the story time. So um, we'll call it there. We'll pick it back up. Well, we'll see if anything happens to them while they're on their official leave. See if anything happens there. Um, but we'll pick it up next time. Happy gaming. Thanks for coming along.